And one.
Welcome to the Game Case, a show for, well, anyone that plays World of Warcraft. The show rife with ramblings, tips, tricks, and goings-on in WoW. Here's your host, Chris Case.
Well, hello, hi, howdy, and welcome to episode 76 of The Game Case. I am Chris, also known as Cuddles, a Brewmaster Monk on Airy Peak in the Convert to Raid Guild.
And I'm Turds, a Beast Mastery Hunter, also in the Convert to Raid Guild on the Airy Peak server.
This week, we're going to talk a little bit about our week in gaming. We're going to answer some questions from the Cuddle Crew, and then we're going to be talking to one of the grumpiest, saltiest, possibly most toxic players in the World of Warcraft community. No, he's not. He's actually, I hate to blow your cover, but he's one of the nicest guys that I have the pleasure of calling my friend. And tonight, I hope you guys are going to enjoy calling him yours as well. Dairies, how are you doing?
I really don't appreciate you telling people that side of me. I don't think I can do the show anymore. I'm going to need to leave.
And that's the show, guys. Good job. Under an hour.
Yep. There you go. Told you we were going to work on brevity. Here you go. That's it.
Thank you. Oh.
What is this show? What is small rejoins? I don't understand.
Okay. So I'll walk you guys behind the curtain here. In my show notes, I have something for my guests that says small rejoins after the intro. I don't know what that means, but I used to guest on the Starting Zone with Mick Montgomery, and his show is so much more professional than mine. And he has that in his show notes. So I was like, I'm going to put this in here because it sounds uber professional. No idea what it actually means. So, Mick, if you ever happen to listen to this, you could clear that up. I'd really appreciate it. Yeah. That's it.
Good job. All right. Well, thanks for, taking time out of your extremely full schedule and visiting with us tonight. How was your week of life?
My week of that's an interesting way to put it. My week was good. I spent most of this past week in Stockholm, Sweden, and then flying back. And I think I worked one day this week. And I spent this weekend watching a lot of football, watching my Patriots win, and getting to this point, to where we are now. So, yeah, it's been a good week.
Right on. T, how about you? Good week of life?
Yeah, one of my last 4-day work weeks until May, so that was exciting. Thank you, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Other than that, just, the typical work home, and CTR 4-year anniversary, prepping for that stuff. Almost done talking about it, guys. Almost done next week.
Nice. Guys, why don't we go ahead and dive right into what we've been up to this last week, either within or outside of the Blizzard universe with gaming. Darius, what you been up? Have you had a chance to game while you were traveling the world?
I didn't game when I was over in Sweden. I didn't bring a gaming laptop with me or anything. I was on vacation. I'm not going to game when I'm on vacation. Come on. But since then, I've been playing quite a few games. So I've been playing a lot of Overwatch because I have an addiction and I need help. But I've also been playing a little bit of Titanfall 2, which is kind of my go-to time waster game. And I've been really getting into Hitman, the new Hitman game that came out this past year. Yeah, I think it was this year. And playing through some of those levels again. Man, that game is so good. That's pretty much it for gaming-wise. Been pretty busy, so not a whole lot outside of those 3 games, I'd say. Yeah.
Right on. T, how about you?
Well, I finally can say that legendaries exist because I got a legendary trinket after trying it for whenever legendaries dropped. So yay, Turrets is finally a legit WoW player. Go Turrets. And it was really exciting too because I was just turning in the chest for High Mountain. I'm like, all right, let's finish these dailies here real quick, get it done. And all of a sudden this orange stuff pops up and this big noise is made. It's like, hey, you did something. So yeah, it was pretty exciting. I was pretty excited. Did that. Today I ran with the COD squad and finally got into a mythic, got carried the entire way, and then they carried my butt through normal Emerald Nightmare. So I can say I did that before, the next one comes out. So thank you, COD squad, for carrying my butt today. It was very nice to just kind of sit there and look pretty.
Yay.
Oh, and
Nice.
I beat Pythagorea, for those of you that have been on this adventure with us since the first time I came on the show. I am done with the geometry game, and there is a new one I'm getting ready to download, and it is more three-dimensional, so we'll see how that goes.
So you're stepping from a math game into more math.
To more math games, yes. Yes, I am. It's my ETT. It's good ETT.
That's what Hearthstone's for, dadgummit.
Mm.
All right. Well, I guess it's me now. I've been playing Warcraft. I know this is surprising, but I've been actually playing Warcraft. I've been doing world quests. I got my first 20 plus world quests done. I'm going through the Druid class order hall. I thought I was done with my class order hall stuff. Like, this is how bad I am at WoW now. I thought I was done, but evidently I'm not, and evidently Druid is one of the worst. So yeah, been going out doing the world quest, trying to get my rep up with the Nightfallen, doing like all the things, and really enjoying and looking forward to my WoW time. Outside of that, I finished up a game called The Wolf Among Us, which is a really cool Telltale game, kind of fairy tale-esque. Huge thank you to Arcane of the Convert to Raid community. He actually gifted that to me over the holidays. So thank you. That game was not on my radar, and it turned out to be one of the most fun gaming experiences I really had in 2016/2017. And then I also finished LA Noire.
Oh, that's old.
Yes, much older game. But it was on sale, and it's actually, in fact, it's back on sale right now on Steam for like $5.99. The PC port is great. It was originally, I believe it was originally just consoles. But that game, I'll tell you guys, it gets like in the middle, there's some weirdness, and then towards the end, you're kind of like, is it over? But the ending of that game, I would put up against the ending of almost any other game I've played ever. The last 15 minutes of that game is incredible.
It was a good game. I remember when it came out. That game did a lot.
Well, it was, for those that hadn't played it, it was the facial recognition, the facial mocap. And you're talking to suspects, and you have to figure out if they're lying to you, and you actually look at their face to figure it out. Rockstar bought it very late in its development to get the facial mocap and integrated the technology into what we now know as Grand Theft Auto 5. But go play it. That's all I'm going to say. Go play it if you have some spare time. I think that's probably enough about what I've been playing. So why don't we go ahead and dig into some questions from the show, because gosh darn it, you guys did good this week.
We did.
So Turart, why don't you start us off with our first question from Totemly Drunk?
Perfect. And he has a two-parter question. I'm going to save the second half of this until we get down towards the bottom, because they all kind of go together. So we'll ask the first part right now. Totemly asks, how much restraint did you have to show during BlizzCon to not stop by the Taco Bell headquarters as we passed by it?
Man. So that was the first night that I was at BlizzCon this year, and I picked up Hansi and Totemly, and we drove to Zoe and Celestalon. We drove to Celestalon's place, and that was very difficult. So I had that day I had driven from the Bay Area all the way down to LA. So I had already done 6 hours of driving, and then I met Hansi at a bar, and we watched the Cubs game. The Cubs win the World Series. So I was already 3 hours into that and exhausted. So we're driving by, we're going to Celestion's place, and he lives right down the street, like a block away from the Taco Bell World Headquarters. And at first I saw it and I was like, the building says Taco Bell on the side, but it doesn't look like a head, because it was just like someone had hand drawn Taco Bell on the side of it, basically. And I was like, there's no way. So then one of them Googles it. They're like, yeah, that's it. That's it. And I'm like, but at this point, I'm so exhausted and like delirious and hungry. And I didn't know what to do. So I just kept driving and we got to Celestalon's and I thought maybe there's food there. Maybe I can eat Celestalon. And nope, he was not having that. So picked up Zoe and then we had to drive back. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, I'll just come back here later when everyone's asleep and I'll just walk inside, and sniff it, it'll be fine. And I totally forgot. So it was really difficult. It was a very trying time in my life. It was probably the hardest point in my life. But yeah, that was really hard. And I can't believe that Celestlon would live a block from the Taco Bell World headquarters and not eat there for every meal. So I can't imagine. I don't know how he does it.
It amazes me that folks of your particular build, Mr. Dairies, being a not stereotypical looking video gamer, sir, would be that into the talk. Like me, I look like a guy that eats Taco Bell all day. Like, come on. Like Roadhog looks like a Taco Bell aficionado. Like, really, Taco Bell, bro?
I love Taco Bell. I play way too much soccer, so that helps burn off the Taco Bell, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure, and this probably never been proven and never will because, the economy would collapse if Taco Bell went away, I'm sure. But I'm pretty sure Taco Bell puts like cocaine or something addictive in their food to make me go back. But, oh, man, I don't know what it is. It's just my go-to food. Oh, it's my vice.
I love that you call it food. That's cute.
It is the finest food. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Demolition Man, but it is the only fast food chain that will survive in the coming apocalypse.
That is true.
I somehow believe
That is true.
We'll have the cockroaches and Taco Bell.
Exactly. Yes.
Coincidence? I think not. So now that I've lost the ability to ever have Taco Bell as an official sponsor of the show, because that was in the cards.
Oh yes, for sure.
Wicked. Our next question is from Wicked. What I want to know is why you know Overwatch with me.
I don't know. My Overwatch time playing is very inconsistent, so it's hard to do that. A lot of people want to play like at night after work, and I don't even get home because of traffic in the Bay Area till like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And for most people, that's usually too late, kids involved and all that stuff. So my time is kind of sporadic, and then the weekends, it's whenever I can get it in. So I don't usually schedule, except for this week on Wednesday. I don't usually schedule Overwatch time. It just kind of happens when it happens. So, I mean, if you ever see me on and I'm playing, send me a message and we'll play. But that's why. I apologize. It's nothing personal. I just don't like you. Just kidding.
There's the Dairies we know and love.
So she does have a follow-up now that you've expressed your hatred for her. Is there anything that you would like to see added or changed in Overwatch currently?
Oh man. That's a good question. I mean, they're doing a really good job with that kind of stuff. One of the things I probably would have said, and I'm playing a lot of Roadhog lately, and I would have said some kind of fix to the hook. I didn't like the initial iteration on the PTR last week or the week before. I thought it was horrible, but I think they've done it quite a bit over the last last 3 or 4 days in fixes. So that was probably one of them. I added or changed. It's hard to know because Blizzard is actually really good at coming up with creative things, and I don't want to say, well, this is what I'm looking for or something like that, because I don't know. I don't want to feel restrained. But man, something that really bothers me about Overwatch that I'd like to see some kind of better feedback for healers. I would like to see, like, when Mercy gets a res off, some kind of visual feedback on the screen to let people know that, hey, some people have been rezzed, or how many people have been rezzed, or something like that. I feel like there's not enough positive feedback given to healers to make people want to heal more, to make them get that like instant gratification like you do when you play a DPS and you kill someone, or you do a bunch of damage or something like that. So maybe something along those lines. And would be good. I love that they're trying new things with the holiday events, with with Christmas and the World Cup and Halloween, and or not the World Cup, the Olympics, and all those things. I love that they're trying new stuff and they're kind of going out of their comfort zone, like the single player kind of co-op that they did with Halloween. I thought was amazing, and I want to see more of that. I want to see them try things. The May snowball fight was it was tiny. It was a little, probably didn't take a whole lot of work, but it was fun and it was different, and I like that kind of stuff. I like that they're doing that. So yeah, that I'd say that's my answer.
Very nice. Well, Tuli, he has our next question. Recently you were in Stockholm, so he asks, what was the best part of visiting Stockholm?
It was not seeing Thule. Thanks, Thule, for going on vacation the one time that I come to Stockholm. I appreciate that. No, the best part of Stockholm was probably the museums. They have amazing museums in Stockholm. They have this old ship called the Vasa, which is a 300-year-old ship that's like one of Sweden's
wow.
biggest failures. It's this ship they spent years and years building 300 years ago, and it sailed 100 yards and sank. Because of where it sank and how they preserved it, it's actually 98% original, intact, and you get to see it all, and it was really cool. But the coolest thing was they have an army museum. It's free of charge army museum, and it's just every exhibit is, you wouldn't think an army museum is really interesting, but every exhibit is super well taken care of and well done, and they have life-size like reenactments of figures reenacting different things, and they have this really the whole underlying message from the first exhibit you see is like, here's our history, here's the history of like the Swedish army and the armies or the wars that we've been a part of, but like, let's just get this out of the way. First, war is awful, and we should not be glorifying this, and like, we should not be saying that this is something that's great and that we should be proud of. Like, war is terrible, and every exhibit you look at and every stage you go through, that's the underlying cause, where it's like, here's a story of some soldier that was in this war, and at the end, like, he lost his leg, and this is how terrible it is, or something like that. Like, and I thought that was a really, really good way to do it, because war is awful. That was a really cool thing. I liked that. I liked what else about the city? I appreciated that everyone spoke perfect English. That was great. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, my trip to Sweden was awesome. So.
Second part of Tuli's question: what was the worst part, with the exception of me not being there and not having Diet Pepsi?
Yeah, they don't have Diet Pepsi, which is one of my go-to sodas. But one of the worst parts was, the weekend I was there was one of the coldest weekends they've had in the last 50 years. It was really, really cold. And it snowed, and it's coming. I grew up in cold and snow, but I've lived in California and Seattle for a long time, so I wasn't quite used to jump offing a plane and jumping into snow. So there was that. That was less than ideal. And the amount of coffee they drink, oh my God. Those people make Seattle look dry in terms of coffee.
Oh, wow.
They drink so much coffee, and I can't stand coffee. I can't stand the taste or the smell, and they drink so much coffee. They have a term for drinking coffee. It's called fika. It's this like tradition. Every morning and every afternoon, everyone just stops what they're doing and they go drink coffee for like 15 minutes, and then they go back to work. It's insane. They're insane. Swedish people are crazy, but very nice, but mostly crazy.
Well,
yeah.
That is absolutely beautiful. I'll let you handle the next block of questions, because I know you. I don't even want to be involved in this. I might step away for a few minutes. I don't want to talk about this. I wasn't involved. Just go ahead.
This is your fault.
This is. So we have all heard the left shark story. So Dairies, we have obviously questions about the left sharks, and they all kind of go together. So the first one is, what is your plan, or what plans have you discarded as far as getting revenge for the left sharks? Have you had plans and been like, no?
A lot of them, like, in the planning stage, have put me on watch lists. So it's actually gotten really restrictive in what I can and can't do. Flying to Sweden was very difficult to get back into the country. So it's been really hard. Lately, it's just been little things like I'll get into Cuddle's computer and I'll make it so that like OBS breaks when he's trying to stream, or his internet will cut out while he's trying to do things. It's things that annoy him, but he doesn't know is me, so don't tell him. It's more psychological warfare at this point. It started physical, but it's gotten much darker. So.
It kind of leads us into the next question. When is Cuddles going to get his comeuppance after you have received all those left sharks that we know cannot be deleted easily or stack or do anything nice?
Like I said, it's so there's the TV show, The Big Bang Theory, and recently there was an episode where Amy has this birthday thing. It's her birthday, and it's Sheldon's birthday, maybe. No, it's Amy's birthday, whatever. And like she does something horrible, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna ruin your day. I'm gonna selectively ruin 1 hour of 24 days. So basically that's what I'm gonna do to Cuddles. Like, I'm not gonna ruin an expansion for him or like 1 week of his life like it took for me. I'm gonna selectively ruin an hour here or there throughout the rest of his life. So, you did this to yourself. I just want you to know that.
He did.
I did. I totally did.
The last left shark question, and then you can expand on left sharks if you want to. Draven Dresden asks, what would you like the next Bat Guano / left shark to be in Legion? Let me say Bat Guano was so much easier, guys, because he could at least sell it. Like, you made some profit there.
Millions. It bought me a house in the Mediterranean. It was amazing. I don't know. I don't want anything, please. The only thing I log into WoW now to do is to like do the class hall quest and to like make a little bit of gold so that eventually when Blizzard comes up with Blizzard bucks, I can buy Overwatch skins. So I don't want anything else because I don't want to spend more time in that game deleting something that doesn't stack and I can't sell to vendors. Just leave me alone.
Thought about having like an add-on created that would just automatically delete that?
Yeah, so that's how bad it got. Was that I had to create something that would delete them when I opened my mailbox. It would put them in my inventory and then delete them. And the biggest problem was they were blues. So you can't just drag them and delete them. You have to type delete if you want to do it. So I had to figure out a way to, through the limited Blizzard API, enter the word delete and have it delete that way. So thank you again for being a horrible person.
So no. What I'm hearing is that these left sharks actually challenged you intellectually and made you a better person at the end of it. You learned something.
Nope.
Damn it.
You're not going to get off this.
I'm grasping it. Damn it. I got nothing. To be fair, the original idea, I believe, came from Draven Dresden. I just happened to produce an audio piece that I then distributed to other podcasts. And, things happen.
You just kind of pushed the ball down the hill that got everything rolling.
I also may have been responsible for the idea of having people create tunes.
Yes, that was the worst part. because for a while
send them back.
Yeah, I could just click return and mass return them to everybody. It was when you did that and you can't return to accounts that don't exist that I was stuck with literally full mailboxes for months.
Did you think about changing your tune's name? Just deleting all your Battle.net friends, changing your identity, starting over?
Almost, yeah.
You almost ruined a life, Cuddles. God.
That's what I'm in this for. Oh, jeez.
Oh, God. Anything else about the left sharks that either of you would like to add? This has been something that we have talked about for a while.
No, I never want to talk about them or think about them again.
I will say that I was like really pleased and amused with the entire thing until Dairies pulled me aside at BlizzCon and explained the whole having to type delete. And like my heart like my heart was like up here. It was like flying above me because I'm at like the well played party and we're having a great time. And then he's like, I had to type delete on every one of those. And it just like it fell through the floor. It was in the sub basement of the Hilton then, and I was just like, Darius is gonna kill me.
Yeah, you're genuinely a terrible person.
I think I grabbed someone and was like, listen, if I die tonight, it was Dairies.
Yeah.
Just know that.
It was awful. You're awful.
Yeah, no, I definitely am. I definitely am. Do we have any more questions, T?
We have one more. Let's end this on something fun and silly. Pick up the closest book next to you and read this first sentence of page 206.
Oh man,
People have books.
Grab them. I haven't. Yeah, let me grab them.
I'm gonna have to leave the room.
Okay.
I hope this book has 200 pages. Oh, it does.
206.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and. What book do you have, Darius? Let's
This is
start there.
from the book called America, the Book, Teacher's Edition, A Citizen's Guide to Democracy in Action. This is the Jon Stewart history book
That is going to be
he
good.
wrote. With a foreword by Thomas Jefferson. So this is on page 206, and this is about the Middle East. See, it's got pictures. And the first sentence, this is going to be good. This is probably going to be horrible. Let's see. The first sentence is, the rich history of the Middle East is well documented, so there is little the authors need to add by way of discouraging you from visiting there. Well, that's horrible. Oh, man.
That is terrible. Cuddles, do you have your book?
I do. I have Florida Curiosities. It's quirky characters, roadside oddities, and other offbeat stuff about my home state of Florida.
Florida.
Yeah. So, sentence one, after more than a century of war, deprivation, and relocation to reservations, the Seminoles of Florida wanted no part of dealing with the United States of America.
You guys have great. I picked.
There you go. Way to lift our spirits.
I have Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman.
Oh, that's a good book.
It is an amazing book.
Yeah, it's a good book.
But if you're going to places and doing things because of what she wrote, and what she wrote is her recollection of the places you went to and the things you did, said Newt, then I know. But there's some evidence that's how it works, said Anathema.
Well done. I'm glad nobody had Danielle Steele close at hand. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I did have right next to this book that I grabbed is the English-German dictionary. And luckily it's one book away, though, so I could have grabbed that.
I don't know. I might have been closer if I had gone into my son's room, but then we would have had rhymes. And that might have been funner than...
That could have been good.
That could have been good.
That could have been better than hearing about the plight of the Seminole Indian. Jeez. No,
Go
really.
Florida.
Okay, so if anyone is ever coming to Florida, or if you live there, I will say this book. If you're coming here, I'll send it to you. If you live here, just go buy it. It has like a bunch of weird crap that like roadside attractions that we don't know about. So there's a about 35 miles south of me. There's a guy that bought. He was from New York, and he bought a piece of land, and it turned out to be swampland. Like, he got swindled, right? So he was like, well, I'm going to show them. So he took and built a castle on it, and then covered it in chrome newspaper printing plates. It does all sorts of weird pun-involved art, and then dug a moat around it and put a boat in it and sells food on it, and it's awesome. And if you're ever in Central Florida, you should go to Solomon's Castle. It's incredible and really weird. One of those things that should not exist in modern day America. So guys, thank you for all of the questions. If you're wondering, how can I ask one of these questions? Guys, it's real simple. Go to bit.ly/Cuddles Discord. Get in our Discord. There's a wonderful little text channel in there called Questions for the Show. Guess where you put the questions for the show? Right there. It's awesome. Put your questions in there. We will read the majority of them and give you credit for it. We appreciate all of the wonderful questions this week for Dairies. But why don't we go ahead and jump right into the meat and potatoes of the show? Dairies, tell us a little bit about you.
What? I don't have any potatoes. Let's see. What about me? I am the co-host, or currently on hiatus a little bit, of the Convert to Raid podcast, or the, what do we call it now?
BattleNet News.
Yes,
CTR presents the BattleNet News. Yes.
Yeah.
Even though BattleNet is now not a term either. Let's see. What else? I am a massive soccer fanatic and a Seattle Sounders fan and a Boston Red Sox fan. And I currently live in the Bay Area. And I don't know. What else do you want to know about me? My shoe size? Would that help?
Your shoe size, your sign.
us some
Do you
insight.
prefer like long walks on the beach, short walks in the woods?
Long walks off short piers.
There you go.
Long walks in the woods, yeah. Shoe size is usually like a 9.5. Yeah, I don't have any insights, not into me. Not that I want to tell you people, at least.
Well, that's hold on. I do have a little bit of a follow up here. You said you're a Sounders fan.
Mhm.
And you're really big into soccer. Now, are you also really big into football? Like, do you watch like the English Premier League? Do you watch like La Liga? Do you watch anything other than MLS?
Oh yeah, no, my
Do you watch
EPL
real soccer?
my
That's
EPL
what I'm
team
asking.
is the Tottenham Hotspurs. But just so we're clear, this is America. It's soccer. It's not football. It's soccer. So get that through your head. But no,
Well,
I mean, I'm a season ticket holder for the Sounders still. But I watch when they're not on at 4 a.m, like yesterday. I watch the Spurs games, and I follow them and whatnot.
No.
So.
I could totally see how a Hotspurs fan would take that sort of opinion about soccer and football. With a team like them, you don't have much pride, so it's
Whatever.
okay. I myself am a Chelsea man, and we carry ourselves with pride.
Nope. No, you don't. How's your Diego Costa doing now that
shut up.
he's distraught because someone offered him 30 million pounds a year and he doesn't know what to do with his life, because his life is so hard.
Well, that's
So
a
don't get-
conundrum
don't
that
get
I
me
hope.
started.
That's a conundrum that I hope all of us face at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, go Red Sox. I'm with you on that one. I'm a Tigers fan, but go Red Sox.
You coasters.
Yeah.
I'm done answering questions.
Yeah. You haven't been that entertaining up to this point, so I don't think that we're gonna lose much.
Nope. Show's about to get a lot better.
Yeah. D, do you have any questions for this guy?
I'm losing it. Okay, well we've talked about a lot so far, a lot of very interesting things. You Overwatch it up. Have you been in it from the get-go? Like, were you in the beta or the alpha, or was it one of those things that kind of slow to catch on, like Cuddles and Heroes?
No, I've been playing Overwatch since the early friends and family days of Overwatch, and I've loved it ever since. It was so when they canceled the initial, it was one of the times where they basically like turned off the beta and then reopened it. It took like a month where it was like,
Yeah.
I remember it was last year. I think it was from like November to December, November to January. And that was probably the hardest month of my life. Withdrawal. I spent a lot of time just curled up in the corner crying. It was really difficult for me. But yeah, no, I've been playing Overwatch since the very beginning, and the addiction to it, like I said, is real. I love that game, and I'll probably keep playing it for a long time. It's such a fun game. They've done such an amazing job with it. So
Nice. Well, we've also talked about WoW. You still WoW it up a little bit. Hopefully the left sharks die down so you can WoW it up even more. What about like Heroes or Hearthstone? Did you ever get into those? Are they kind of lesser than everything else?
yeah, I mean, I don't play a lot of WoW anymore. My schedule just doesn't allow for me to play as much as I used to, and I think I might have moved on from WoW. It just doesn't grab me the way it used to. I played a lot of Hearthstone when that was originally, again, in like the friends and family and then the alpha. But I quickly fell off with that. I used to play traditional TCGs like Magic the
Yeah,
Gathering a
I did
lot
Magic.
when I was a kid, and even up until a couple years ago. And I really enjoy the sitting down at a table, physical cards, collecting them, rarity, that kind of stuff. And I don't get that same feeling playing Hearthstone, so I just can't get into it. And then Heroes of the Storm, I play a bit of that. I played a lot of that when they had the Genji skin and then the free heroes thing. So I did the 30 games thing in December, and I've played quite a bit of Heroes. I play a lot more Heroes than I do Hearthstone, that's for sure, but not as much as Overwatch.
So you still dabble
Yes.
in all things Blizzard. Most things Blizzard.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, Blizzard makes good games, so I like playing video games regardless of who makes them. So, yeah, I will play a good video game.
Very nice. Well, let's talk a little bit about BlizzCon. I think I kind of remember seeing you at the Well Played party for a little bit, maybe on the stream. Thoughts, opinions? Did they do it well this year? Not Well Played, but BlizzCon. Keep going back.
It was. I've been to a lot of BlizzCons. So it's. I'd say this year was my. If I had to rank them, this would be at the bottom. If I had to rank all the BlizzCons I've been to, there just wasn't a lot. There wasn't a lot of substance. They didn't really announce anything big. They didn't. I think one of the only reasons they had BlizzCon this year was because it was the 10th anniversary, and they wanted to, to have a BlizzCon for that, to do all the fanfare that comes with 10 years. Yeah. I mean, I still enjoy seeing everybody there and meeting people and getting all of that, but I just didn't feel like there was a need for it this year. And at times I'd walk around the show floor, and even on the towards the end of the first day, I was like, well, I've seen everything. Like, now what do I do? There's nothing else to do. So, I watched a lot of the Overwatch tournament, but I just felt like it was missing substance this year. But of course, they always do a good job with presentation and, all that stuff. So it's always put on very well. But yeah.
Yeah, it was I will totally agree with that in that it was a phenomenal show, but I was only inside on Sunday. I wasn't wanting for another, not if I had the ticket, I would have been in there both days. But I was only in on Sunday, and I didn't feel like, other than a couple panels, which you get to catch those later. Yeah. I have a question for you, because you've been involved and are much more knowledgeable about Blizzard, definitely, than I am. Do you think, is there a future where Blizzard doesn't do a BlizzCon? Is BlizzCon a thing that happens every year? Or are they going to, 30 years they might not do one, but I mean, in the next 4 or 5 years, is there a reason for them not to do one?
I do think there is a time where Blizzard doesn't do one. Maybe not next year with all the stuff that's coming out next year, but maybe the year after. There's no BlizzCon, because it is very expensive and very time consuming and resource intensive to have a BlizzCon. And some of that is footed by the $250 bill or ticket that everyone pays. And how much can you increase that number to then pay for an event that you're not getting a whole lot of out of? And if you don't have something like a new game announcement or multiple games announcements or the 10th year anniversary or something like that, what is the incentive for Blizzard to have a BlizzCon? Because I mean, let's be real here. Blizzard doesn't actually care that you people come and are happy. Like, Blizzard cares about making money. That's what they do. So, they're not going to care that they're disappointing you because there's no BlizzCon this year and you don't get to go and hang out with your friends. Unfortunately, that's the reality of it. And they've done it in the past, not had BlizzCons. And, I could see them doing it again. I wouldn't fault them in the least for not having a BlizzCon if they didn't have a viable reason to have one.
Yeah,
go on.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say BlizzCon is entirely fan service. It's not something that they have to do. It's not a given. It's not PAX East. It's not like they don't if they don't have something to say, there's no reason to get us all there.
Right.
I'm sorry.
No, just say from a consumer. Okay, I haven't been from BlizzCon, but from a consumer standpoint, when you have that year off, I know it wasn't last year, but the year before, they'd skipped a year in. Okay, so last year was 16, 15. Did they skip 14 or 13? They skipped a year somewhere, and
Yeah,
then
I don't remember which year.
the next year, I know if CTR was around the next time that they had one, and everyone was like, "Oh, they skipped it. We got to go. We got to get tickets." It was such a big hype that it was, even if they had announced nothing, they still would have been. I think that they had like Hearthstone, something big with Hearthstone that year. It might have been 13 then when the guild was first founded. But if you skip a year, you kind of get that year off, and then everyone's like, "All right, we got to go. Like, I have the
Right.
itch. Let's do this."
Yeah, Scott Johnson and Nerdtacular. They
Oh,
skipped
yeah.
a year, and now I've heard a lot more people talking about Nerdtacular than I did 2 years ago. And Draven actually had a great point in chat. Esport tournaments. I could see BlizzCon turning into less of a BlizzCon and more of Blizzard Esports Championship. And maybe scaling down. But they did one of the things that Metzen it wasn't Metzen. Who was it? One of the guys. I don't know their names. I'm new. One of the guys up on stage in the opening ceremonies that I had to watch from the house. He said they were very excited about the additional space being opened in the Anaheim Convention Center. So that leads me to believe they're already planning for next year. Next year's going to happen. But what do you think of the possibility of it just transitioning into an esports championship weekend?
I think we'll see. There'll always be esports there. You'll always see WoW and Hearthstone and StarCraft to a bit. WoW and Hearthstone or StarCraft will probably start to peter off. But I don't think it's going to become this massive esports thing that everyone. I think Overwatch is going to be their massive esports thing, and that's going to be somewhere else. I have a feeling that it's either going to be BlizzCon is now the Overwatch yearly championship, and they have a BlizzCon every year because they have a yearly Overwatch championship, and that's the reason they have it more so than announcing games. Or the Overwatch championship is its own thing, and now esports are like more of a minor role. They're still there at BlizzCon like they were in the past, but Overwatch is this, that's where all the money's going.
Yeah.
And I could potentially seeing them do that because the Anaheim Convention Center simply isn't big enough for the 20 or 30,000 people they expect to show up for something like that and be able to watch it all at once, in a stadium kind of environment. And you want like you want to create that hype around it. You want to have it in an arena. You want to have something more than just like the Overwatch arena like they had this time where it only held a couple hundred people. So I could see it going either way, but I have a feeling that it's going to likely go the way where Overwatch is its own thing and its own massive event outside of BlizzCon that's going to follow some other kind of schedule. We'll see, but that's my expectation there.
Nice. T, what else you got?
Well, we've talked about BlizzCon. Let's talk about, okay, you don't WoW much, but you've been in Convert to Raid since I think almost the beginning. I think I remember mentions of Dairies when I first joined. So I think, I was, you invited my second tune, I believe. I remember that because I had no idea who the hell you were. Sorry. No idea who you were. I didn't listen to the podcast.
I still don't know who I am, so.
But what has it been like watching this thing that you guys joked would be a couple hundred kind of really nerdy guys, and that would be it, turn into 10 guilds 4 years later? We're gearing up for an anniversary week celebration. Have you been excited? Has it kind of been like behind minded Dairies?
It's nuts. It's crazy that all you people want to be in this guild. But it's awesome. It's so cool that we've been able to create a community where people can come together and raid and talk about raiding and think about raiding and find other raiders and whatnot. It's the community it's created has been great, and we constantly get complimented from other guilds, other communities, people in Blizzard that the type of people that join our guild and are vocal in our guild are the nicest and super friendly and super helpful, and everyone loves that. We have an amazing community, and I don't think enough recognition is given to that the people of the community are actually really, really great. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of creating something like that. And then the people that are around. Like I said, though, it is nuts, though. You mentioned that we thought it was only going to be a couple hundred people, and that's totally true. We thought maybe 200 or 300 people, and now it's 8,000 or whatever whatever. I think it's 6,000, 5,000 or 6,000 actual people, and then about 8,000 tunes. And that's just mind-boggling that those many people want to all be in the same guild, with the headaches that come with being in the same guild. Guild chat is sometimes really hard to follow, and having green wall, and not having guild bank access like you want, and all these different little headaches that you don't think of when you join, but people are willing to stick those things out just so they could be in CTR and be around those people, which is awesome. I think it's a testament to how great the guild is. So yeah.
Well, I have to say on that note, I started playing in November of 2017 or 20
No,
no
15.
2015. I started playing 8 months from now into the future. But I joined a small guild on Undermine with the guy that brought me into the game, Leoldar. Hey, buddy. And it wasn't a great experience. I was really enjoying WoW, but I wasn't enjoying the MM part of the O. And I decided to come over to Convert to Raid from listening to you guys. And being a WOD baby, I understand I was really late to the party. But my experience from day one was incredible, was amazing. It's the reason why I'm still playing Warcraft. It's the reason why I have this podcast. It's the reason why I go to BlizzCon every year. My first BlizzCon was 2 years ago. And I stayed in a house. We called it Monk House. And it was a bunch of guys from the Peak of Serenity IRC. But none of them actually played monks. I think I was the only one that was calling it Monk House at that point. Although we had Hina Lover, one of the monk theory crafters. But I got to see through their eyes the experience that they had at BlizzCon as guys that maybe on Mythic teams and maybe were like really into the game. And I won't discount them or their experiences, but I saw what they got to experience, and then I saw what everyone in Convert to Raid got to experience. The walking into the Hilton and having people run up and hug you. And we take over like a corner of the bar. Like there's no what are we doing? There's no oh hey, maybe we should have a barbecue. It's like, no, we're all hanging out, doing stuff every night, loving on each other. Like it's such a family. And
Ew.
I for one, well, it's mostly me and Totem loving on each other. It's a magical and special time for me. But I, for one, have to say that I have a massive amount of respect and admiration for what you guys created, and it's made World of Warcraft what it is for me today. So thank you for what you have done, sir.
Knowing that you're actually enjoying yourself, I think I want to change my mind, and maybe we should shut the guild down.
I'm gonna try to log in tonight. I'm not gonna be in CTR anymore.
Yeah.
The purge is gonna hit me.
I think Dairies used to do the purges back in the day.
I did up until I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago.
I was gonna say I heard rumors that you're not purging anymore.
Yeah, I haven't done the purges in a while. Someone else does that now.
Ain't
nobody got time for that.
How much satisfaction is it taking from your life to not be kicking hundreds of people from a guild on a monthly or tri-monthly basis? Because I feel like I could see you just going.
Maybe now that I think about it and I relate it to other events in my life, maybe it is where my life took a turn for the worst. This is where my unhappiness has started, was when I stopped kicking all those people. I should get back into that.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, you do. We've talked again. We've dabbled on this a little bit. Let's get down to it. You do a little podcast called Battle Convert to Raid Presents Battle, whatever your guys' official name is, Convert to
Yeah.
Raid. Over the years, you guys have had some changes in guests and hosts and how you guys have done things. We gotta ask, Coltrane, what was it like working with? Was he as silly off screen as he kind of was on screen? Like I've always wondered the man behind the curtain.
He is the definition of diva. Oh my goodness. He wouldn't look at us in the eyes when we were talking before the show. He wouldn't converse with Pat for 9 months. I had to talk through him. His rider was 6 pages long, like green only M&Ms with one red M&M mixed in there. He wanted it was insane. No, he's an amazing guy. Like he's an amazing person. Just to even be around, like he's super friendly. He's always helpful. He's super funny. He's smart. I mean, he's a great person. Just in general, he is, for everything as silly as he is on the show, he is twice as silly in person, but twice as genuine. He's a great guy. Yeah, he's a really cool guy. Yeah.
What about the I don't want to say the way the show has turned into, but how it's become now is having the rotating guest. I know it's been a month since you've been on, but it seems to be working. I don't know if you love it or not, but it seems to be good.
It was definitely an evolution the show needed to take. It was very hard to get to do just Pat and I and try to get different people on, like just a special guest every week. That was really difficult. We knew that we were never going to replace Coltrane when we were doing, like when he left. We knew that wasn't going to happen, so we didn't even try. So we decided to change the format up and go the way of rotating guests, or rotating multiple guests, through the people that we knew and the expertise that we had. I think it's worked out. The show's different than it used to be. And I think it's, like I said, I think it's the evolution it just needed to have. So, yeah.
Agreed. Cuddles, do you have anything, or?
I think this brings us to the part of the show where we do some shout outs, actually.
Nice.
So Dairies, do you have any shout outs, my friend? It's been in the show notes all week, bro.
I know. I've been busy. I should give a shout out to Thule if he is going to listen to this, because he was really, really helpful when I was talking to him about going to Stockholm and what I should see and things like that. He was very, very helpful, writing me very long emails, which I really appreciate. So I give a big shout out to Thule. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very nice. Shout outs for me this week. You guys have heard it for months now. 4-year anniversary is coming up. So shout out, big thank you to everyone who is helping with events. Pat and Mage are doing a Hearthstone thing tomorrow. I will be attempting Overwatch with Dairies Wednesday. I'm going to fail miserably, but it'll be good. So shout out to Dairies for coming and doing that. We have Gizmazord and Joel's doing some Heroes action on Saturday, and the COD Squad's going to help us out getting you guys in some mythics throughout the week as well. And my event staff has been killing it, getting events up there, so shout out to you guys. But I'll be done with the CTR anniversary, the next show we have. Thank goodness. It's exciting, but it's a lot of work. So Woo! Thank you all. Cuddles, how about you, hon?
Is it really next week?
Yeah, like today, like Convert to Mythic kicked it off by doing their run today, and then tomorrow.
Shout out to Turage for reminding me that the anniversary week is starting. So I'm gonna post an event tonight for anniversary. It's gonna be a pet battle tournament sometime during the week. Damn it. But no. Secondly, of course, Dairies, thank you so much for taking your time out coming on the show. I know you are a busy guy, and I really appreciate you being here. I've never said this. I've never. Actually, no, I told you in person. Thank you for the thing with the stuff in San Diego.
You're welcome.
I still really appreciate that, man. And don't think that I'm going to be scared to ask you next time. Because I totally will. But no, after that, shout out to the entire Cuddle Crew. My stream, for those that have been watching and following my vomit car debacle, on Twitter, I may or may have not drive for a rideshare company and had somebody vomit not outside, inside of the car, but also down into the door of my car. This weekend, I took the door entirely apart and cleaned out the insides. And I believe I took a shakedown cruise tonight. And I believe we may be vomit free.
That is good.
Maybe. So I'm in Florida. So tomorrow it's going to be like 85. Tomorrow's going to be the real test. If I could get it through the hot temp test, we'll be good. But we normally don't read shout outs from the chat room, but we will tonight. Draven says shout out to Katy Perry for playing Left Shark into the minds of Blizzard. Alessander says shout out to Dairies because this has been a very nice, funny, and upbeat episode. Alessandro, you shouldn't give him any of the credit for that.
It's just ruining my reputation.
I know. It's totally horrible. Guys, he actually really is a curmudgeon.
Yes.
I once came to visit him in the Bay Area. He yelled at me not only to get off his lawn, but he dumped a bowl of miso soup on my head. What's funny is I don't know where the miso soup came from.
I have one with me at all times for you.
So beware of that next time you meet Dairies. He may have some covert miso. Anyway, guys, now is the time, the special part of the show where I get down on my virtual knees and I beg and I plead with you to leave those all-important 5-star iTunes reviews. So remember, if you enjoyed what we did tonight, that's 5 stars for the Game Case show. If you didn't like it, if somehow we have offended you, guys, make sure that you leave 2 stars for Nothing But Left Sharks, the show about nothing but left sharks. That's 2 shows. Yeah, anyway, you guys know. Dairies, where can people find you on the internet?
Just type internet. I'm on there. No, I'm at BoardMind on Twitter. And I'm Dairies in Discord I'll plug the CTR Discord because I don't know what yours is, but I assume you have one. I'm there. And I'm at BoardMind on Twitch as well. So you can find me in those places.
Nice.
T, how about you?
Yes, you can find me as always, Turarts, on Twitter and Discord. Otherwise, email turartsctr@gmail.com.
So, guys, this is the part where I run through this long thing where I take a deep breath and I try to make through it in one breath. I promise this is going to be the last time that you're going to hear this. This is going to be the last time that you're going to hear me go through this, and it's going to be the last time that you're going to hear our outro, as well as actually our intro. Huge. I forgot about this in shout outs, but huge shout out to a certain member of the CTR community whom y'all will hear revealed next week in our intro. I'm sure you'll recognize it. But huge shout out to the individual that's been working on our new intro and outro. That is going to do it. I'm getting like sentimental about doing this for the last time. This like paragraph of text that I shouldn't read at the end of a podcast. That's going to do it for episode 76. If you'd like to join our live audience and hang out in the chat room, come join us on twitch.tv/thegamecase at 10 p.m. Eastern time each and every Sunday. You'll also find me here 5 nights and mornings a week streaming and laughing with my chat room. Thank you for listening to episode 76 of The Game Case. You can find me on Twitter at The Game Case. You can find the show at The Game Case Show. You can download us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, MySpace, and all sorts of other places. Catch recordings of the live show or all sorts of fun videos at youtube.com/thegamecase, or find all of the things on the official site of The Game Case Show, thegamecase.com. Guys, that's gonna do it for tonight. I didn't even try to do this. We're gonna try to do this once at the very end of the show. Everybody's already turned it off. Turarts and Dairies, say bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Game Case out.
Thank you for joining us this week inside The Game Case. Please join us next week for more news, tips, and ramblings about the World of Warcraft. Game Case out.